everyone, I'm Chas, and I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado. Thank you, Hometalk, for having me, and thank you to all of you for being here. Today we're actually going to work on this table, and we are going to do a fake wood grain with it, but I'm going to tell you about the process of the steps I took just to get the table here as well. Alright, so I'm just going to pull this picture up. Sometimes it's hard to read computer to computer, but this is how the table looked when we first got it. A lot of this was painted on the bottom, so it was wrought iron, and they had painted it black over the white, so it was all chipping off, and it had some water damage because it had been sitting outside. So my purpose in doing this was I was looking for a table. I wanted to try to broaden my horizons to working on fixing furniture up. So we're going to go down to the wrought iron first here, and I'm going to explain what I did because I've left some of it blank for you to see. So this is just a metal brush, and I got this from Dollar Tree, and I also got these, one of these scrub pads, you know, the metal kind. I always call them SOS pads, but so what I did was all this was chipping off here, and so I started with this brush, and I just started brushing away like this, and everything just chipped right off, which was great. So I just really just flicked away with this brush. And then the next step that I did was I took this scrub pad and just started scrubbing and going around like this, and it really just smoothed all that out. And you can see now I've kind of stripped it all the way back down to its original white here, and you can see that some of the black is still here, but it's all smooth and all the chip stuff is gone. Okay, so what I've got here, I was just trying to do some experiment. Like I said, I was just trying to I am not a professional redo paint furniture person. This is kind of like one of my first few goes at this. So this paint actually is a paint sample from Lowe's. You can go in, and it's basically their signature Valspar collection, and it comes with a satin finish already in there and a primer just in the sample alone. So it's like $3, $4 for this sample. You go pick the color you want, they mix it for you, and you get to go home. And I used, this color is, if I remember right, yes, Crucible. And so I did this color Crucible for the whole base here. I'm going to open this up so I can show you how I kind of finished it. So I just used a sponge brush here, and then I just brushed it on like that. And the sponge brush worked really well to help me, because I am not one that's very good with lines. When I use paintbrushes, I tend to make lines. So, as I just got painted myself. So yeah, and it doesn't take very much paint to fix, so you can see over here that I'm going to paint this now. It doesn't take very much. I went over the whole thing, all of this wrought iron, once, and then I went over it a second time, but really one coat pretty much did the whole thing. And I pretty much only needed one sample to do everything I did here today. So I'll show you what I'll use this one sample for, which is great because this little bit went a long way. Now, if I miss something, I'll go back and touch it up later. But I just wanted you guys to see that step because it was really simple. And again, I am not a professional painter by any means. I'm just a crafter, a mom, and a dance teacher. So that's that. I can see I might need to go over this little spot here. It's a little thin. I might need to go over that later. But, you know, pretty simple. Sponge brush and the Crucible paint and the primer built in is really a big part of this and a big key. So now we're going to go up top and we're going to talk about the next step with the table. And I'm going to move this paintbrush so that I do not get painted myself. Now again, I was explaining this table was outside, so for them it had been sitting in the rain, and I used this sanding pads. And if you can get these at the Dollar Tree, grab them, because at the hardware store they can go up for like $4. So just grabbing one at the dollar store, it's the same thing. And this whole outer edge here was just raw and slivery. So I just took and I sanded this whole edge to get all of those little splinters off until it was nice and smooth. So just sanding that off and then wiping it with a clean rag. So then I took that same crucible paint and I just used a paintbrush, this one to be exact, to paint this whole top right here. And it did take 2 coats. And again, what was interesting about this table is this side part was all wood, but this was a veneer on top. So kind of laminately, I cannot say that word, laminate feeling. And to get paint to stick to anything that's kind of that laminate, it doesn't sand well. So you need something with a primer in it to stick, otherwise it will pretty much just chip right off, and you don't want that. You want your table to last. So I did 2 cones of that. So basically, Brielle, if you don't mind backing up for 1 second, all of this wrought iron and all of this table I did with a sample, a $3-4 sample of paint, Valspar signature paint from Lowe's. So I thought that was pretty fantastic that that spread that far. Okay, now we're gonna get to the fake wood graining part. So I wanted this to be dry so we could do that, because you do need this first layer to be dry before you move on to the next step. The tool I'm gonna be using is this one right here. Looks like this. This is kind of rubbery right here. And it's got edges. So there's different edges and different ways to mess around with it. So I suggest kind of what I did as I practiced with it. I grabbed a piece of paper because I had no idea how to use this thing. And this is kind of it in a rough idea with paper, what it's kind of going to be. So you just learn to tip this tool to make your wood grain look. If you know someone who wants to do this, please share it with them. This can be done on wood. It can be done on concrete. I've seen people make concrete floors and give it a wood grain look with just some paint. It's really cool looking. All right, so we've got a Valspar clear mixing glaze. This is key to this step, because what this does to your paint that you're going to use is it's going to water it down, and it's going to make it so that it doesn't dry as fast, which is what you need to make the long graining effect happen. So this is a key component to this next step that we're going to do. You are going, and this one, you can't really get it in a really good discount rate. It was about $10 for this container. And then I got another sample of this Valspar signature paint from Lowe's, and this color is, let me see, I gotta remember the name of it, Voyager. So another color sample, because you want something that contrasts with the base coat in order to make this happen. Now, while I mix this, it's going to be 4 parts of glaze, 1 part of paint. And I'm going to do my best guess at this. We've been in our house probably, gosh, it's going on 16 years now, something like that. And yep, that's when your carpet starts needing help and your walls start needing to be repainted and everything starts going. We had our oven catch fire. The element inside of it decided to look like a sparkler. That was an interesting experience. Has anyone else had that happen? It looks like a sparkler. It's just the magnesium inside the element that's burning is what it is. All right, 1 more, and that's, there we go. I'll mix that up and see how it looks. So we want it to seem kind of watery. I'm just mixing the glaze and the paint together. So this is a lighter gray. There we go, that looks pretty good. I will save that just in case I need it. I'm gonna set this aside. Okay, so it looks pretty good. I might need a little more glaze, but we're gonna give it a shot here. So basically what I wanna do now is I just wanna put this light color onto the top of the table. And I don't have to worry about the lines because, again, this is going to be wood grain, which is what I like about this because it's very forgiving. So with that wood grain look, it's okay with the lines to be there. Now I'm going a little over, I can always touch this back up. There we go. It's a long table. So again, so I'm just trying to get all the layers on here so that I can do this wood graining tool effect. All right, it is coated. Now I'm gonna keep this handy because what I like about this stuff is it's pretty forgiving if I biff this up. So the first thing I think I'm gonna do is, again, there's so many edges on this tool. So I'm just gonna start with, let's see, I wanna turn it this way. This sharp tool right here. And I'm just going to go across the glaze. And you know, right now, my glaze has the stripes in it from my paintbrush, because again, I kind of like the idea, you're trying to make a wood look. So you're just trying to get kind of that grain going already with that. Now I'm gonna get a paper towel handy because as this thing fills kind of up, I'll get my tool out. Sometimes paint collects. So now all I do is I go across here, pulling the tool across and create that look. What do you think of that? Please, you know, feel free to share it with somebody else who might be interested. So now I'm gonna start right next to that. And I'm just gonna create the next line right next to that. And again, so as you can see, the paint's collecting in this tool, so I just wanna wipe some of that off so that I can get the next layer down. Okay, let me get another paper towel ready. All right, going on the next one. I'm gonna start on a different level here. Moving down. What do you think, guys? What do you think of this? And again, I can go up here and just, like, this part was not quite as, you know, so you just go back up and you add, you just redo that. Like this part too, I missed this little spot. Just go in. But if I don't like the way something goes, I'm gonna show you what to do for that too. So again, I'm just gonna push down and you just wiggle it back and forth to get the look you want. What do you think? Do you think this could be a cool look on somebody's floor? You got a table that's just seeing better days. All right, one more row, just to kind of finish this off. And again, I am no professional painter, and I just made this table. But the other thing I want to tell you is this is really forgiving stuff. So if I didn't like the way one of these rows turned out, like say this one, maybe I'll just use this one as an example. This little one right in here, I don't know what happened, but I got a little speckly, which that actually doesn't really bother me, but we'll use that one as an example. So I'm gonna set my tool down. You just simply get your glaze back out, go back over your glaze, like that. Okay, brush that row up. As much or as little as you want. Some people like to go back in with a dry brush and just give it more of a muffly look. Kind of give it a little bit of a muffly feel. But here we go. So there I go. I just painted that one because maybe I didn't really like the way it turned out, say. And I'm just gonna go back in now. Go back over it. And finish it off. And there we go. So if you don't like the way one of them turned out, you just go back and fix it. Because that's what the glaze does, is slow the process of the drying down. And then now you've got the ability to fix it. And then when you're all done, you let it dry. And then of course I would put a protective coating, either a polyacrylic or a polyurethane over the top of it to give it a nice solid coat for you to use on a regular basis. I am no professional here whatsoever. I'm a crafter. So this, to me, I was just trying to upgrade my Hometalk set. I found this table. I wanted to do something fun with it, and I challenged myself to do something different. And I mean, look, I could do this. So if I can do it, you guys can do it too. So I just want to thank you for all tuning in today. Thank you, Hometalk, for having me. And I hope you'll give it a try, because it's actually really addicting and really fun and kind of therapeutic. Again, thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.